Welcome back. All right, 11 games tonight in the National Hockey League, and if you root for a team that was on the road tonight, well, you may have done pretty well. Road teams had a pretty good night tonight in the NHL. It's just one of those things that happens. All right, so starting things off, the Toronto Maple Leafs and the New Jersey Devils. It was Stolarz at one end, Markstrom at the other. Early press by New Jersey. In fact, the shots are 4-0, 2.5 minutes in. Stolarz earning his paycheck tonight. Nason has a rush that's defended. The shots were up to 10-1 for the Devils, 8.5 minutes in. There's a net feed to Palat, near miss there. There weren't any easy pucks for Toronto either. New Jersey playing fantastic defensively. With 3:41 left, there's a power play for the Leafs. That leads to a shorthanded rush by Hischier, and Mercer's denied during that. That power play was killed off without a shot on net. 38.2 seconds left. There's a delay of game called. The Devils go to the power play. So that rolls over into the second period, where the Leafs finish the score. We still have no score in the game. Meyer to Haula, near miss. The Devils go back to the power play. That's killed off. There's a press by the Devils after it ends. And then on a turnover, Palat buries a one-timer. Bratt with the assist at 7:15. New Jersey's ahead 1-0, which is rare. New Jersey, I believe, had allowed the first goal in 9 out of their previous 10 games coming into this one. We get a power play for the Leafs. That's killed off. Shots are 6-3 for the Devils with 9 minutes left. Devils go back to the power play. Shorthanded fast break by Matthews. That one misses wide. Power play's killed off. And then Pacioretty absolutely steamrolls Jack Hughes. Hughes was okay, but that was quite a hit. It's 1-0 New Jersey after 2. Third period, early press by Toronto. Riley's denied. The Devils clear it out. Dillon has a screenshot. That's held. The Leafs press at 3.5 minutes. We get a power play for Toronto. That's killed off. Shots are 4-2 for the Leafs at 7 minutes. We then get a power play for the Devils, and Toronto scores on it. It's Holmberg on a rush after some great saves by Stolarz, Dewar, and Tanev with the assists at 10:42. That makes the score 1-1, and then the Leafs finish killing that penalty. Myers denied from the slot. The Leafs press to close out the third. We're going to overtime, which was also popular tonight. Devils control early. Jack Hughes fires one wide. The Leafs rush. Meyer has a net drive that's blocked. Tavares has a rush that's defended. And then at 2:51, a fantastic goal by Austin Matthews and another fast break. So when I write fast break on the board, basically that means where it is technically a breakaway, but it's just from that blue line in. It's just inside the blue line, so that's why I just refer to it as a fast break. 2-1 overtime win for Toronto. They go to 17-9-2 with the win. With the overtime loss, the Devils 18-10-3. Shots on net, 16-1 New Jersey in the first, 11-5 New Jersey in the second, 11-8 New Jersey in the third. Toronto outshoots them 2-1 in overtime, including the shot that matters. Final shots are 39-16 for New Jersey. Power plays, Toronto 0 for 3, New Jersey 0 for 4. The hits, 22-18 Toronto. Stolarz saves 38 out of 39. He was fantastic. Markstrom 14 saves on 16 shots. All right, second game of the night, Colorado in against the Pittsburgh Penguins. So it's Wedgwood at one end, Jarry at the other, and Wedgwood continues to show. Getting out of Nashville seems to have helped. Early injury to Wedgwood. He gets shaken up. He took a knee to the head from Malkin. It was an accident. Malkin came back and apologized to him. I was surprised the concussion spotter didn't take him out of there, but he didn't. We get a power play for the Avs. That's killed off. There's a press by the Penguins at 5.5 minutes. At 6:31, though, Colorado scores first. It's McKinnon from Rantanen and Taves. The Avs look for another. The shots are 4-2 for Pittsburgh with 8 minutes left. Avs press with 6.5 minutes left. O'Connor's denied on a breakaway. And then at 18:22, on a fantastic deke and close, Mikko Rantanen scores from Makar. It's 2-0 Colorado after 1. Second period, we get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. The shots are 2-1 Pittsburgh at 4.5 minutes. At 5:48, Rantanen goes short side from a sharp angle. He makes it 3-0 to Hahn and McKinnon with the assists. Penguins press are kept to the outside until at 7:21, Cody Glass scores from Malkin and Letang. So Pittsburgh's on the board. It's 3-1 Colorado. Makar is a wrister that's held. Then there's a delay of game call. Gives the Avs the power play. That's killed off. The Avs go back to the power play. That one's killed off as well. With 3:10 left, the Penguins go to the power play. They score after it ends. At 18:53, it's Bunting from Carlson and Rust. So it's 3-2 for Colorado after 2, but Pittsburgh's back in the game. Third period, Glass gets denied on a turnover, and then at 3:23, Nichushkin just goes beast mode. The first of a few beast mode goals I'll be talking about tonight. McKinnon with the assist on that one. So beast mode is just basically the guy is a very strong player, and he just goes through multiple players and puts it in the net. That's what I qualify as beast mode. Or when you're playing keep away with the puck. So that makes it 4-2 for Colorado. Get a power play for the Penguins. That's killed off. Shots are 4-3 for the Penguins at 8 minutes. Penguins go back to the power play. That's killed off at 12:21. Lehkonen wires a net feed from in close. No chance on that one for Jari. Rantanen and McKinnon with the assists. So that means an early goalie pull, and at 15:08, Rantanen gets the empty netter, which is the hat trick goal as well. McKinnon and Taves with the assists, and this was game number 600 for Mikko Rantanen, so congratulations to him. The final score in this one, 6-2 for Colorado. They go to 17-13 with the win. They're on a roll. Pittsburgh 12-14-4 with the loss. Shots on net, 10-8 Colorado in the first, 8-7 Colorado in the second, 12-9 Pittsburgh in the third. Both teams had 27 shots in this one. Power plays, Colorado 0-3, Pittsburgh 0-4. The hits, 16-10 Colorado. Wedgwood saves 25 out of 27. He was excellent. Jari saves 21 out of 26. All right, next up, San Jose and Carolina. San Jose had a pretty good game tonight. This is the thing to keep in mind if you're a Sharks fan. Vanacek versus Kochetkov in this one. The Canes press at a minute and a half. Shots are 2-0 in their favor. 3 minutes in. At 4:26 on their third shot, Gostisbehere scores to put Carolina ahead. Carrier and Roslovic with the assists. So Roslovic started picking up assists now. Sharks press are kept to the outside. The teams exchange rushes. Things are pushy on a hold by Vanacek. Canes press with 7 minutes left. Shots are 8-7 Carolina with 3 minutes left. But at 18:51, San Jose ties it. It's Luke Cunnin from Celebrini and Ceci. The Canes would press to respond, but it's 1-1 after 1. Second period. We get a power play for the Sharks. There's a shorthanded rush by Stahl. He hits the post, but that power play is killed off. We get a power play for the Canes. That becomes a minute and 21 seconds of 4-on-4. The fans let the referee know how they felt about it with the really loud booing. Everything gets killed off there. The Sharks press at 9.5 minutes, and eventually they get the lead. Cunnin scores from Eklund at 11:44. We then get a power play for Carolina. That's killed off. Thrun to Zetterlund gets picked off with 12.4 seconds left. Carolina gets power play. So it's 2-1 San Jose after 2. And there's a power play for Carolina entering the third, which the Sharks finish the kill on. But at 4 minutes and 11 seconds on a tic-tac-toe play, it was a really pretty goal. Burns ties the game. Aho and Natchez with the assists. The Sharks go back to the power play. That's killed off. The shots are 4-2 Carolina at 7 minutes. Canes press at 7.5 minutes. Wallman's then denied on a rush. Roslovic's denied on a 2-on-1. Svechnikov has a wraparound chance. That's saved. Power play for Carolina. That's killed off. The Canes have a bit of pressure after that comes to an end. There's a press by the Canes with 3.5 minutes left. At 17:21, Jalen Chatfield with what would be the leading goal to make it 3-2. Canes then look for another with 1:25 left. With the goalie pulled, the Sharks call a timeout, but the Canes hold on. They win this one 3-2. They go to 18-9-1 with the win. With the loss, San Jose 10-16-5 on the season. Shots on net, 11-9 Carolina in the first, 8-7 Carolina in the second, 9-7 Carolina in the third. Final shots, 28-23 Carolina. Power plays, San Jose 0-3, Carolina 0-4. The hits, 34-31 San Jose. Vanacek, he saved 23 out of 20. No, he saved 25 out of 28. Yeah, it's 25 out of 28. I'll just change that here. I can blame that on the entertainment guy too, right? So yeah, 25 out of 28 for Vanacek. Kochetkov saves 21 out of 23. All right, so Carolina gets back on a winning track, and I thought San Jose had a pretty good game. Last game on this board is Philadelphia in Columbus. Columbus bringing their road game home, which is a shame. Arison versus Merzlikins. A foggy arena to start. Apparently they had a light show before, or like a laser light show before the game, and it was a pretty foggy arena. Flyers press at 2.5 minutes. They're kept to the outside. At 4:37, Cates buries a rebound on what was the second shot for Philly. Forster and York with the assists, so that's 1-0 Philadelphia. Columbus presses for response, but Flyers press with 9.5 minutes left, and at 10:55, from a distance, Tippett scores. It's one of those ones you want to get the save on. It was only the third shot, too. Drysdale and Frost with the assist, so that makes it 2-0. The shots were 5-3 for Philadelphia with 7 minutes left. We get a power play for the Flyers. That's killed off. It's 2-0 after the first for Philly. Second period, Harris has a rush chance that deflects wide. The shots remain at a premium in the second period for a while here. Flyers press at 3 minutes. Columbus gets pinned down, but they're blocking the net. They're not allowing a lot of shots. We then get a power play for the Flyers, and they score on it. It is Konechny from Michkov and Brink at 6 minutes and 11 seconds, making it 3-0 for the Flyers. Flyers then look for another. In fact, the shots are 5-0 Philadelphia 8 minutes in. Flyers go back to the power play. That's killed off. We then had a fight between Sealer and Olivier. Flyers press with 7 minutes left. They have more pressure with 5 minutes left. We then get a power play for Columbus, and they score on it. It is Werenski from Marchenko at 16:56. It was a one-timer from the left circle, makes the score 3-1. However, at 19 minutes, Konechny gets that back and restores the 3-goal lead. Farabee and Sealer with the assists, so it's 4-1 Philadelphia after 2. Third period, Michkov has a net drive that's saved. There's some pushing, and then Frost buries a rebound. Michkov with the assist at 1:55 makes it 5-1 for the Philadelphia Flyers. Things are pushy on a hold by Ersson. Konechny and Sillinger are unfriendly. Columbus comes out of that with a power play. That was killed off. The Flyers rush after it's done. Shots are 6-1 for Philadelphia at 6.5 minutes. But Columbus does fight their way back a little bit. 11:42 in. A point shot past the screen. Monahan ends up getting credited with the goal. Farabee, Fabro and Kent Johnson with the assist. So Dante Fabro with another point tonight. Fantilli's then robbed as Columbus seeks another. Shots are 7-4 for the Flyers with 5 minutes left. But at 19:23, so in the last minute, Kent Johnson gets a goal to go with his assist. Severson and Van Riemsdyk with the assists makes the final score 5-3. A little more respectable, but still a loss at home for Columbus. With the 5-3 win, the Flyers are 13-12-4 on the season, and Columbus drops to 12-13-3. Shots on net, 7-4 Philly in the first, 10-7 Philly in the second. Both teams had 7 shots in the third. Final shots are 24-18 for Philadelphia. Power plays, Philadelphia 1 for 3, Columbus 1 for 2. The hits, 26-18 in favor of Columbus. Ersson saves 15 out of 18. Merzlikins 19 saves on 24 shots. And let's go to board number 2. Okay, so the LA Kings and the New York Islanders next on this list. Kemper versus Sorokin. There's an early press by the Islanders. The Kings press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are 5-0 LA 5 minutes in. We get a power play for the Islanders. There's a shorthanded rush by Kempe. That power play is killed off. No shots on net. The Islanders then get another power play. Pajot to Siplikov. There's a near miss there. That power play is killed off as well. The shots are 9-3 for LA with 7.5 minutes left, and they would score first. At 13:51 on a nice pass from behind the net, Kempe scores. Kopitar and Moore with the assists. So it's 1-0 LA after 1. Second period, there's an early press by the Islanders. Shots are 2-1 Isles at 2.5 minutes, but at 3:09, Fiala scores for LA. Edmondson and Turcotte with the assists, so it's 2-0. The Islanders press at 4.5 minutes. Things get pushy on hold by Sorokin. The Islanders get some pressure, and they score during that. Lee just turns around and goes 5-hole. Palmieri and Nelson with the assists at 9:47. Makes it 2-1 for the Kings. Shots are 9-7 for the Islanders with 7.5 minutes left. Clark has a tip shot that's held. Fiala has a net feed that's picked off. The Kings draw a penalty, or a power play, I should say, with 2:25 left. That's killed off. It is 2-1 LA after 2. Third period, no shots on net, 3.5 minutes in. Pretty fast first half to this period as well. Near miss from Palmieri on a net drive. The teams trade rushes. The Islanders press at the half. We get a delay game call. The Islanders to the power play. Lee has a wraparound that saved, and the power play is killed off. The Islanders press with 5.5 minutes left. There was a post for Horvat from the inner slot. Kopitar gets robbed on a net drive. The goalie pull happens with 1 minute and 30 seconds left. With 1 minute and 6 seconds left, the Islanders call a timeout. At 19:46, Mikey Anderson hits that empty net. Kempe with the assist. So the final score in this one's 3-1 for the LA Kings, who go to 17-8-3 with the win. With the loss, the Islanders drop back below NHL 500 at 11-12-7. Shots on net favored LA, 12-3 in the first, 13-10 in the second, and then the Islanders outshoot them 7-5 in the third. Final shots are 30-20 for the Kings. Power plays, LA 0 for 1, Islanders 0 for 3. The hits, 16-14 Islanders. Kemper saves 19 out of 20. Sorokin, 27 saves on 29 shots. He was very good. He just didn't get he didn't get goal support tonight. All right, next up, Calgary and the Nashville Predators. So, Vladar versus Saros. Anderson's denied and a rebound is held by Saros. There's a press by Nashville in a minute and a half. We get a power play for the Preds. There's a shorthanded rush by Backlund. He's denied there. That power play's killed off. Flames press at 4.5 minutes. The shots are 4-2 for Calgary at 6 minutes, but Nashville scores first. Marchessault from Stamkos and Forsberg at 7:45. The Flames press to respond, and they would get on the board at 10:22, where Nazem Kadri scores from Jonathan Huberdeau. But 30 seconds later, Novak answers from Jankowski and Evangelista, so at 10:52, it's 2-1 for Nashville. Novak then misses one high on a net drive. We get a power play for Calgary. That's killed off. Near miss for Coleman in the closing seconds, but it's 2-1 Nashville after one. Second period, Coronado has a rush chance that's defended, and then on a rush, on a cross-ice pass, Rooney buries one. Dewar with the assist at 2:27. It's a 2-2 tie. Shots are 3-1 for the Flames at 4.5 minutes. At 7:41, Marchessault puts Nashville back in the lead. Forsberg with the assist. So Marchessault with a couple of goals tonight. Shea then has a wrister that's held. Kadri has a one-timer that's kicked aside. The Flames press with 8 minutes left. At 13:49, the Flames tie the game up. It's Pahal with his first in 30 games. Peltier and Rooney with the assists. The Flames then look for the lead, and with 3:12 left, Calgary gets a power play, and they score on it. It's Huberdeau from Coronado and Zary at 18:41. That makes the score 4-3 for Calgary after two. Third period. The Flames press at 2 minutes. This is where they reveal that Yossi, who got hurt earlier in the game, would not return tonight. So that's bad news for Nashville. If they're going to be without Yossi for any period of time, that hurts. This is a blue line that was already missing a couple of guys, so losing Yossi is just huge. Nashville gets pinned down, but they're shot blocking. There's a press by Nashville at 6 minutes. Rooney's stick breaks on a rush. Otherwise, that was really promising. Shots are 4-2 Calgary at 7.5 minutes. Preds have a 2-on-1 that misfires. We get a power play for Nashville. That's killed off. The hitting's picking up late in this game. These teams not liking each other very much by the time it's done. And we were a post away from a tie during the 6-on-5. Things get punchy on a hold by Vladar, and the Flames hold on. They win this one, and so for Calgary, they go to 14-10-5 with the win. It's another loss for Nashville. They're 7-16-6. So, not great. All right, Boston and Winnipeg. Yeah, so this is something. Yeah, we'll talk about it. So, Swayman versus Hellebuck. There's an early power play for the Jets. That's killed off. Shots are 2-1 in favor of the home team. 3.5 minutes in. Perfetti misses one high and close. The Bruins press at 6.5 minutes. Kepke's denied. Boston was building a little momentum there. Frederick has a screenshot that's held. The shots are 9-5 for Boston at 9.5 minutes. To this point, it's a good road game for Boston. The Jets press at the half. They draw a power play, and it's a 4-minute power play, and they score during the first 2 minutes. Nemesnikov buries a rebound. Niederreiter and Pionk with the assists at 12:09. So 1-0 Winnipeg. Bruins kill the other 2 minutes, but at 18:01, Scheifele wires one from the slot. Connor and Velarde with the assists. And so at 18:01, it becomes 2-0 for Winnipeg. Jets press in the closing seconds. So even though Boston had the early momentum and they had a pretty good first half of the first period, things turned against them a little bit. So we go to the second period. Bruins press are kept to the outside. The Jets press at 2.5 minutes. Zaka misses one wide on a rebound. We get a power play for Boston. That becomes 1 minute and 11 seconds of 4-on-4. So there's a 49-second power play for Winnipeg on the other side of it, meaning they scored on it. Scheifele, cross-ice pass and buried. Morrissey with the assist at 7:02. There are so many goals being scored in the NHL that are like this. A guy gets in close, passes it across the crease or right across the ice, and it's wired on a one-timer. There's just virtually no chance of a goalie stopping those. We then get a power play for Boston, and they score on it. Pasternak with a one-timer from the left circle. McAvoy and Marchand with the assists at 9:13. So that makes it 3-1 for Winnipeg. Bruins press for another. The Jets press with 7.5 minutes left. The Bruins get some pressure in the final minute. But it's 3-1 for Winnipeg going into the third period. At 1:15 from the slot on a pretty nice pass, Kyle Connor buries one. Scheifele with the assist makes it 4-1. Kastelik has a net drive chance. That's held. Shots are 3-2 for Boston at 5 minutes. And at 5:33, Velarde scores from Kyle Connor. We then get a power play for Winnipeg, and they score on it. Iafallo tipping in a point shot. Pionk and Chabrikov with the assists at 7:19. We then had a fight between Frederick and Gustafsson, which lasted a very short period of time. Frederick kind of caught him on the button there. And then Kastelik versus Stanley, which was a more competitive fight. Those were at the same time, so that's why I'm putting them there. The Gustafsson one ends and then the other one gets going, but they were all kind of just mulling around at center ice. Jets go back to the power play. That's killed off. Velarde's denied on a rush. And then Appleton with what was the worst goal allowed by Swayman tonight, just from that angle. Probably shouldn't go in. Fleury and Lowry with the assists at 16-16. And 10 seconds later, Winnipeg scores again. It's Chabrikov from Perfetti, clearly on a rush at 16:26 because it's only 10 seconds later. And Winnipeg wins 8-1. They go to 21-9 with the win. Boston 15-12-3 with the loss. Thankful this only counts as one game. Shots on net favored Winnipeg mostly. 14-8 in the first. Both teams had 8 shots in the second, and then Winnipeg outshoots Boston 13-8 in the third. Final shots are 35-24 for Winnipeg. Power plays, Boston 1 for 2, Winnipeg 3 for 6. So they were both 50% on the power play. The hits 56-35 Boston. Swayman saves 27 out of 35. I don't know that there's a Bruin that had a good night. Hellebuck saved 23 out of 24. So kind of lost in this is Hellebuck had a pretty good night. But yep, there you go. All right, next up, last one on this board is Tampa Bay and the Edmonton Oilers. Vasilevsky versus Skinner in this one. We get an early power play for the Oilers. That was killed off. No shots on that power play for Edmonton. Shots are 4-1 for Tampa at 6 minutes. The Oilers score, but that goal's offside, so that comes off the board. The Bolts press at 9.5 minutes. Hyman has a one-timer. That's held. We get a power play for Tampa Bay. That's killed off. And then at 17:31, it's a beast mode goal by McDavid. He just, from the blue line, is like, all right, I guess I'll just do it myself. And he does. Draisaitl and Kulak with the assists on that fantastic play by McDavid. Paul's then denied and close. We get some pushing there. It's 1-0 Edmonton after 1. Second period, Ryan has a rush chance that deflects out. Shots are 2-1 for the Oilers at 5 minutes. Bolts press at 7.5 minutes. And at 10:02, on a turnover, Gensel wires one from the slot. Kucherov with the assist there, so it's 1-1. But Edmonton gets it back. At 11:58, Draisaitl scores. Vasilevsky kind of, I don't know, Vasilevsky basically puts it in himself off of Hedman. So he initially saved that shot by Draisaitl, and then he goes for the fancy play, and it ends up in the back of his net. So that makes it 2-1 for the Oilers, is that goal. Makes it 2-1. So yeah, I went in off Hedman's shin pad, technically, but Vasilevsky's the one that put it there. Oilers press with 5 minutes left. There's more pressure by the Oilers with 2.5 minutes left. They're up 2-1 after 2. Third period, the Oilers press at 1.5 minutes. The shots are 2-1 Tampa, 3 minutes in. The Bolts stall on an icing, and I had to put this on the board because when a team ices the puck and they're really tired, I always get a kick out of it when they put a guy on the bench. He knows he's supposed to be out there, but the linesmen and the refs go through like who was out there and who wasn't, and by the time they actually get the face-off lined up and everything, they're not fully recovered, but they're a lot better off than what they were. I'm surprised they don't just call a penalty for delay a game. Honestly, I think you can. You'll be like, you know what? You guys know who's on the ice when that icing takes place. Delay a game. But anyways, I wanted to throw that in there because when that happens, I both kind of admire the team that's doing it to get that extra time, and I kind of wish the referees would call a penalty at the same time. So I'm kind of on the fence on that one. So the Bolts press at 6.5 minutes. There's a toe save on McDonough. The rebound's cleared out. Power play for the Oilers. That's killed off. The shots are 4 apiece with 8.5 minutes left. Very defensive game at this point. Asimon has a net feed that's picked off. The Oilers are defending the net really well. They're not giving Tampa Bay very much in terms of great shots here. Draisaitl has a net feed that's picked off. The goalie pull happens with 2 minutes and 40 seconds left. Hedman has a screenshot that's held with 1:42 left. That becomes a 6-on-4 instead of the 6-on-5. Hagel says goal. The ref says no. I thought it was in, but the replays didn't show. Like just the reaction of everybody on the ice. I'm like, I think that puck went in, but there wasn't a replay that. And so yeah, the referee says no goal. John Cooper wanted an explanation, but that definitely helps the Oilers to hold on and win this one 2-1. They go to 16-10-2 with the win. With the loss, the Lightning 14-10-2 on the season. Shots on net, 8-7 Edmonton in the first, 11-7 Edmonton in the second, 8-6 Tampa in the third. Final shots, 25-22 Edmonton. Both teams go 0 for 2 on the power play. The hits, 14-9 for Tampa. Vasilevsky, technically 24 saves on 25 shots. He shouldn't get credit for that since he put it in his own net. But Skinner, 21 saves on 22 shots at the other end. Now let's go to board number 3. All right, you have now arrived at the nothing was solved in regulation board. So, Gustafsson versus Vejmelka in the battle between Minnesota and Utah. Very unpredictable game tonight. So, early press by the Wild. Gunther to Cooley gets picked off. The shots are 3-0 Minnesota at 3.5 minutes. Utah presses at 7.5 minutes. Chisholm's denied as the Wild press. There's more pressure by the Wild at 9 minutes. Then there's a post for Keller and the rebound's cleared. Lots of time spent in Utah's zone until at 13:46, Stenlund with a one-timer from the slot makes it 1-0 Utah. Carconi and Mata with the assists. 2:08 left. Minnesota gets a power play. That becomes 20 seconds of 4-on-4. So, to start the second period, Utah has 1 minute and 31 seconds left in a power play. However, that then becomes 1 minute and 5 seconds of 4-on-4. So, the fans weren't happy with that. It stays 1-0 Utah. Everything gets killed off there. Hartman fires one wide on a rush. The shots are 5-1 for Minnesota at 6 minutes. Utah scores. It's challenged for offside, and yep, no goal. So it stays 1-0. Carconi has a net drive that's defended. Cooley has a rush chance that's held. The shots are 6-5 for the Wild with 6.5 minutes left. And at 14:25 on a pretty iffy turnover there by Utah, Huznadinov makes him pay. What an amazing, great shot on a fast break for him. And at 14:25, it's 1-1. And then on another fast break, Kaprizov goes 5-hole. Johansson with the assist at 15:01. It's 2-1 Minnesota. Utah looks to respond. The Wild press with 3 minutes left. Utah presses to close it out. It's 2-1 Minnesota after 2. Third period, the shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. We then get a power play for Utah, and they score on it at 4:42. Keller goes short side from the right circle. Sergachev and Gunther with the assists. Ties the game at 2. That does not stay that way. At 5:39, Johansson with one that goes through Vejmelka and just trickles in. So that makes it 3-2 Minnesota. Utah presses at 7 minutes. They end up going back to the power play, and they score on it. At 9:54, it's Keller from Gunther and Sergachev. And then, maybe the biggest surprise was that Valimaki then buries a loose puck. Krause with the assist at 11:45. Utah has the lead for the second time in the game, and the first time since it was 1-0. So the goalie pull happens with 1:55 left, and Rossi would tie the game. Johansson and Boldy with the assists at 19:15. That one's passed a screen from in close. So we go to overtime. Utah controls early. Keller gets denied. The Wild rush. Rossi gets denied. It was just back and forth. Everything going on all the time. Amazing 3-on-3 there. We go to the shootout. Matt Boldy with the winner. Minnesota wins this one 5-4 via the shootout. They go to 19-5-4 with the win. With the shootout loss, Utah's 12-11-5 on the season. Shots on net, 17-5 Minnesota in the first, 10-7 Minnesota in the second, 9-8 for Utah in the third, 4-3 for Utah in the overtime. Final shots, 38-25 Minnesota. Power plays, Minnesota 0 for 2, Utah 2 for 5. The hits, 27-14 Minnesota. Gustafsson, 21 saves on 25 shots. Vejmelka, 34 saves on 38 shots. All right, next up, Vancouver and St. Louis. So Hofer versus Demko. The Canucks press are kept to the outside. The only shot on net was Vancouver's 4 minutes in. Kessel has a shot that's blockered out. At 8:02, Vancouver scores first. Joshua from Garland and Myers. But St. Louis answers back pretty quickly. At 9:15, it's a one-timer from Bolduc. Holloway with the assist, and it was a Demko turnover. I thought Demko was okay tonight. It's his first game since April, so I'm going to cut him some slack. Blues press with 9.5 minutes left. Myers has a net drive chance. That's held. There was a post for Shen on a net drive. Shots are 6-5 St. Louis with 4.5 minutes left. We get a power play for the Canucks with 3 minutes 41 seconds left, and St. Louis scores on it. Thomas, shorthanded from Parayko and Buchnevich at 17 minutes and 30 seconds. And then the most important part, St. Louis finishes the kill. They're up 2-1 after 1. Second period, early press by Vancouver. Hughes has a shot that's held during some pressure there. Blues press at 3 minutes. The shots are 5-3 St. Louis at 7 minutes. Kyrou gets denied on a turnover breakaway. Lots of zone time for the Canucks, but they're not getting to the net. So every time I turned it on, They were on the right side in the St. Louis zone and kind of pinned in a corner. I'm like, okay, well, that's zone time, technically. Power play for the Blues then. That's killed off. The shots are 9-4 St. Louis with 5 minutes left. The Blues go back to the power play. The ref's told that he sucks. And so Kyrou scores on that power play from Thomas and Falk at 16-18. And then the Canucks end up going to the power play with 2:40 left. And they score on that. Parayko tips this one in. So it's Pettersson's goal. Besser and Garland with the assists at 18:32. It's 3-2 in favor of the St. Louis Blues after 2. Third period, Holloway gets denied on a 2-on-1 rush. And then Sundqvist is robbed 2-0. So Demko's save percentage tonight wasn't great, but some of those chances that he saved were ridiculous. So Vancouver's defense might be starting to feel the loss of Hronek a little bit more over the last couple of games. Good forechecking by the Blues. The shots are 3-0 in favor of St. Louis, 5.5 minutes in. Canucks draw a power play. There's a crossbar for Pettersson. That's killed off. That's how you know Pettersson's going. He's started hitting crossbars and posts again. Sasson can't bury one in close. The shots are 6-2 St. Louis with 4 minutes left. The Canucks press. The Blues are blocking. With 2:23 left, the goalie pull takes place. It was a good call. DeBrusk roofs one in close from Pettersson and Besser at 18:08. We then end up with 2 minutes of 4-on-4, which can't last 2 minutes because we're going to overtime where it starts 3-on-3. The Blues controlled early. Broberg has a fast chance break. That's held. And then on a turnover, I think it was Besser's turnover, and as soon as it happened, I just smacked myself in the head. I was like, oh, no. And Holloway roofs one on a net drive. Thomas with the assist at 1:38. Robert Thomas is not the guy you want to turn the puck over to in overtime. So Holloway gets the goal in overtime. St. Louis wins in Vancouver because Vancouver doesn't win at home. St. Louis 14-13-2 with the win. With the overtime loss, Vancouver's 14-8-5 on the season. Shots on net, 8-7 Vancouver in the first, 11-9 St. Louis in the second, 8-5 Vancouver in the third. St. Louis had both shots in the overtime, including the winner. Both teams had 25 shots in this game. Power plays, St. Louis 1 for 2, Vancouver 1 for 3. The hits, 30-15 for Vancouver. Hofer saves 22 out of 25. Demko saves 21 out of 25. Maybe when they priced me out, because the Canucks had a really good record when I went to their games last year, so maybe that's the problem. Sure. Yeah, we can go with that. Because THG can't go to the games anymore. That's what it is. All right, last game. Florida and the Kraken. And I think of excitement level, this one was the least exciting, especially early on here. So, Bobrovsky versus Decord. The Kraken press at 3 minutes. Shots are 2-0 Seattle. 4 minutes in. We get a power play for the Kraken. That's killed off. Shots are 5-3 Florida with 9.5 minutes left. Panthers draw a power play. That's killed off. And on a breakaway, Stevenson scores. Gord and McCann with the assists at 15:39, making it 1-0 Seattle. Panthers press to respond. Great first period for Joey Decord. Can't say enough good things about Joey Decord in this game. So second period, the Florida Panthers press at 2 minutes. The shots are 3-0 Florida at 4 minutes. Montour fires one wide from the slot. The Panthers press at 6.5 minutes. Shots are 5-2 Florida at 9 minutes. Teams trade turnovers. Ekblad breaks up a 2-on-1. It was the second time in the game he had done that. Florida presses with 8 minutes left. Verhaeghe fires one wide from the slot. With 3:31 left, Seattle gets a power play. That's killed off. And then at 18:59, Barkov on a great feed from Reinhart. He scores. It's 1-1 after 2. Third period. Early press by the Kraken. Florida presses at 2.5 minutes. We get a power play for Florida. That's killed off. Panthers press after it's done. The Kraken press at the half. Near miss for Verhaeghe on a 3-on-2. Verhaeghe was all around it. Just could not get a goal tonight. Shots are 4-1 Seattle with 7 minutes left. Lindell fires one wide on a rush. Samoskevich has a rush chance that's held. The Panthers press with 2 minutes left. And then Wright fires one high from in close late. We're going to overtime. In the overtime, Panthers control early. Verhaeghe's denied. The Kraken take over. McCann has a net drive that's saved. Burakovsky has a chance that's saved. Wright fires one wide on a rush. And Bjorkstrand was robbed on a breakaway late in that overtime. So we go to the shootout. And in the shootout, Florida knows how to hit the net. Barkov and Reinhart with the goals. Florida wins this one 2-1 in the shootout. They go to 18-9-2 with the win. With the shootout loss, Seattle 14-14-2 on the season. Shots on net, 11-6 Florida in the first, 9-4 Florida in the second, 10-5 Florida in the third, and 3 shots each in the overtime. The shots were 33-18 for Florida. Power plays, 0-2 for Florida, 0-3 for Seattle. The hits, 29-16 for Florida. Bobrovsky saved 17 out of 18, and Daccord did everything he could to steal this game. Makes 32 saves on 33 shots. Excellent game by Joey Daccord. So there you go. You're all caught up. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.